Welcome, everybody, to Lake Superior Interfaith Community Church. Welcome all of those on Zoom. And of course, for those on Zoom, if you haven't done so already, mute your audio and turn off your video, and this will improve the bandwidth for better sound quality with our service, and which we are recording for future access. And just before our final prayers, we haven't, then we can, no, we can't unblock then. You just stay blocked. I need to redo this script. Just stay blocked because we're not able to handle otherwise. Okay, I would like to say thank you for Steve Plasa for being our speaker. I'm so excited. Here he is back there. Thank you, Steve. I would like to say this prayer that I would like to say thank you to Mother, Father, God for bringing us all together. And as we come together, we open our hearts in gratitude for the space, for the opportunity for friendship, and our connection to Spirit. And with this, we say, thank you, God. Okay. So I'll do the statement of intent now. We continue to be fortunate to have a variety of speakers for Sunday services. By using guest speakers, we gain wisdom from all those who share. And this is a church community where we can worship the God of our own understanding, to experience joy and be uplifted, to gain strength and inspiration we can share with others throughout the week. We invite you to join us in the celebration of life, to nourish your spirit, and to enjoy the community of kindred souls. I'd like to invite Michael Anderson up for some beautiful music. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Carol. This song is from the Catholic hymnal that we use at St. Francis when I sing or song leader there on Saturdays. If I was at the church, I would say our next hymn is number 766 in the hymnal. Of course, you don't have the hymnal. It's called The City of God. Awake from your slumber, arise from your sleep. A new day is dawning for all those who weep. The people in darkness have seen us great light. The Lord of our longing has conquered the night. Let us build the city of God. May our tears be turned into dancing. For the Lord, our life and our love, has turned the night into day. We are sons of the morning. We are daughters of day. The one who has loved us has brightened our way. The Lord of all kindness has called us to be a light for his people to set their hearts free. Let us build the city of God. May our tears be turned into dancing. For the Lord, our light and our love, has turned the night into day.
Thank you, Michael. So I was going to ask if there's any announcements from anybody who's here. Okay, I would like to, I do have a prayer request for Barb Benz and her son. He's really struggling for his life. And I talked to her yesterday, and he's had 4 brain surgeries, 4 rounds of chemotherapy or radiation, and he cannot have any more, and 3 tumors in the brain. My heart goes out to her and her son. So just prayer requests, hold her up, hold Gary up in light through this difficult time. Okay, I would like to say the principles now. Okay. We believe in infinite intelligence. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence, and we affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm that the existence and identity of the individual continue after the change called death. We believe in our universal connection in spirit, that there is communication between the spiritual and physical worlds. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule: whatsoever ye would that others should do unto you, do also unto them. We affirm the moral responsibility of individuals and that we make our own happiness or unhappiness as we obey or disobey nature's physical and spiritual laws. We affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any human soul here or hereafter. And we affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing are divine attributes contained in all sacred texts. So with this, I think I'd like to ask Steve to come up, and I will turn it over to Steve. Thank you, Steve. Okay.
Thank you. Let's get this adjusted. How's that sound? Hopefully I'll talk a little louder. First of all, let me share a greeting from my readings. I greet you in the love and light of our infinite Creator. This is something that those beings that have channeled here have opened every channeling with. Channeled on Earth, I guess I should say. This was back in the 70s, these people. But thought it was quite interesting, especially when they explained what love and light were all of creation. Love is the force that shapes everything, and what's shaped is light. All of light is, all of matter is light. So light is the rest of the universe, form and force. Anyway, I have an opening reading that I'd like to do. This is from a book by Sophia Love called Words of One. This being is speaking to her telepathically, consciously, on a regular basis since 2012, and kind of describing what's coming for us. What's this new world, or how this is. Anyway, I'll read it. You are entering a new room. It is located in a new home, your true home. Nothing is the same here. This is because you have been living in a house of lies. These lies have built up one on top of the other until they become a part of the very foundation you've built your reality on, your sanity on. I reach you now to give you advance warning. Your very foundation is about to crack wide open. And just like when that happens on a physical structure with water, the truth will now come rushing in without restraint. You believe that you are prepared for this. You think, in many cases, you know what it is you are going to hear and to learn. What you know right now is the tip of the iceberg. These revelations will be a shock for all of you. They will alter your foundation, and it will feel in need of repair. You may believe you need to shore up the crack and stop the flood of knowledge for that to happen. Yet, once you've crossed this particular threshold, there is only light. And so this signifies a waking up. And where am I? Sorry. It's talking about us uncovering what has kept us asleep and readying ourselves to step into enlightenment, into awareness. We have many terms for this. We have awakening, we have ascension, or we have the shift, a number of things that are denoting the same type of event. But what I'm going to share with you is what I'm finding from my own reading that I resonate with. And of course, you're free to believe whatever you want to believe. I'm just trying to share what I've learned. And hopefully, if it's true, plant a seed. I feel that it resonates in truth with me, and so that's why I'm sharing it. This time is represented by many who have given messages to us here on earth that is a time of a shift of cycles, a changing of cycles, that we've been on earth for thousands of years. Our spiritual evolution is part of our being here, and that even the earth itself has a spiritual evolution, and that right now this is the end of a cycle of that evolution and a transformation into another beginning cycle of something different. And so I'll try to describe that. One of the main truths that seems to be coming through from all of them is this idea that creation is one thing. All of creation, all beings, all, what do they say? It's me, it's you, it's all that ever was, all that ever will be. The Creator, as you look into the eyes of others, you're looking at the Creator. As they look at you, they're looking at the Creator. So the Creator is in the creation, and it's all together one. Big statement. I said, that's the simple truth. If you can understand that truth and live that truth, then you can live in harmony. And you will be serving the creation, because the only purpose that God the Creator had was to create a world or a creation that served every other portion of creation. So there was an idea of service, and that's what love is. Love is supporting that freedom to grow in this other world, in the creation, and yet ideally all of natural creation serves other parts of creation. The sun serves the solar system. The earth serves all the life on it. The atmosphere serves the life. There's always service going on in all of these different functions. And that's really important to know, because that is the further explanation of love, service to others. Now, there is also service to self, but that's another path that you can take. And according to these teachings, as we evolve, even that changes to service to others. So you're allowed to choose either way. So we're coming to an end of this third cycle, and this is where we make that choice. How will we serve? Will we serve others as creation serves its others, serves the rest of creation, or will we serve ourselves? Unfortunately, this planet has been kept back in ways that have not allowed us to gain the true knowledge of why we're here and what we are meant to do. It's still available, but we've created a world around us that almost prevents us from seeing it. God gave us the ability to create as part of being created in His image. And what we've created with that creation is a limitation here, a limitation of how we see the world and how we have built a world using that ability, but not sourcing it with the truth of the universe. So we've created an illusion for ourselves that keeps us from knowing the greater world. And I'll get into that a little bit more. So what does this mean? There's a chasm, there's a gap between our race's understanding of what we're here for, and it's because there's been another influence that's caught us up in terms of serving them. and their idea of service is service to themselves. So they've convinced us that this is right and this is what we should be doing. And this has been outpictured in our society in a variety of ways, and I won't even start on that. But they're different from us. They're actually a different race. And what these beings are saying is that this began many thousands of years ago. One of the reasons we don't have a very good recorded history is because all of these lies about the world have been given to us to format their success so that we support them without knowing it. Because we don't choose to support ourselves at their expense. We choose to go along with it. And so it's not widely known, it's hard to recognize, and it's not going to be something they come out and tell you. They don't want that. If you were to be invaded, by a race from outside, would they come in and try to take you over? Or would they subtly expose you to things that help you think in the way that they want you to think and take you over without even fighting? It's a different concept. But in truth, all of us are equal creations of creation. And we're entitled to know what's happening. And it is only when the truth is present for everyone that creation is served and choice is possible. If we don't know that our choice has been removed, if we can't live any other way, then we don't have that option. So it's kind of like the Matrix. I mean, if you've seen the movie, everything is created to be a seamless construct that seems to be about, the normal daily life going on, and yet they sit in a pod, their energy is being taken, and they are being kept from making a decision about do they want that, because they're distracted, they're deceived. So unless we can become equal in knowing about what's going on, then oneness for us would be impossible, in the sense that we would not have knowledge of a portion of ourselves about what's really us, what we're free to do, what our choices are. So this time will be a time of exposing the truth, because that's what awakening is. It's wakening up to what's been in the dark. And now with light, we are wakening up and seeing around us. So this turns all the lights on and exposes things, and that's disruptive. Look at our society. Look at what's happening. There's so much division, there's so much disruption, and yet it's because things are coming to light that were not exposed before. So things will be changed, and that's to give us back our choice. So what aren't we aware of? What are we awakening up from? This idea of an awakening seems to be an expansion of consciousness. As we grow in consciousness, in awareness, we'll start to see things we didn't see before, perceive things in a different way. It's for each one of us to go through this expansion of our own consciousness, but it's also for every one of us to go through that expansion globally. And that's what's different about this time. There's been, you've heard how it's the end of times and how there's a great big war between good and evil. I'm sure that's been in our consciousness from various religions and thought from a long time ago. What's changed in that plan is that now there's a plan for everyone to wake up. The battle will be within ourselves as to whether we can become aware of that and accept it, because we can't get to oneness without understanding where we've been, what we've gone through, what all of us have gone through, because oneness means I'm no longer just myself. I'm now connected to everyone. So I would know their pain, their life, their situation. why they did what they did. How can we get to that point if we don't understand what's happening? This is my interpretation again, sorry. I could read what they've said, but I'm trying to ad-lib it, and hopefully I'm doing a good job. But again, you know, this idea of a one consciousness, a collective consciousness, is something these sources have always talked about as something that's going to be different now. We've grown up with individual consciousness. It's like we're the drop and then there's the big ocean, but we're still just a drop. Now we're going to know that we're the ocean. We're not going to lose our individuality of who we are, but now we will know so much more so that we can fit in to that ocean, to be one. So, in that we always have the free will to accept, to choose. You take what you feel is correct and you go forward with what you're understanding. Even what I'm understanding now changes every time I read something new. I mean, more of it comes together for me. But in this situation, they're saying, some are saying we stay in our bodies. We move into this consciousness within the bodies that we have. Not that they won't be changed, but it's not where we just suddenly disappear. Not a rapture situation where some disappear and some are left behind. So the idea is to give every one of us a choice and to feel this oneness that we would have gotten if we would have had the choice to get there and not been distracted by all these other thoughts and what's the word? Strategies, I guess. So again, it's an expansion. It's a remembering more of who we really are. The veil between this world and the next, between our memory of who we are and who we really are, those things will thin. But we come from one source. We are the same source, and that source is love. And love is all there is. We see separation here because of the illusion of using our mind to create this reality in the absence of knowing what creation is all about. If we had tried to remain in harmony with the Creator and love, we would have created something a bit different. So we can experience the truth, but it's going to require unity. It's going to require union with others, and what has to be revealed so that we can then understand each other and know each other. And then we can support all of us rather than supporting a specific small group that wants something else. So oneness will be coming after unity, or is something beyond unity. So it's a different kind of knowing, and that's when the drop knows that it's a drop, and it's also knowing that it's the ocean. So it's kind of a different experience for us. One of the descriptions of a next level of awareness, of consciousness after this 3D world, is what they call a social memory complex. And that's described as an entire people or race or planet that are now one consciousness. They may have multiple individuals, but joining together with other individuals and eventually forming this collective sort of social awareness, which is something way beyond what we can achieve here when we can't even, get outside of our own heads. So that's sort of an expression of the next step. So expansion does not isolate or separate. Expansion includes and welcomes. It accepts. And in this way comes the most challenging aspects of this expansion, our expansion. It's saying, they're saying that there are no mistakes. Good and evil that we've thought of is not the whole truth. I mean, it's not that there can't be a preference, but to judge everything is not the way that it works. So with no mistakes, because it's all conscious awareness and choices that we've made, there's no blame. But they're also saying that that's for the evolution of humankind. It doesn't excuse another race committing a crime against our humanity and our whole civilization, our whole consciousness. That's not allowed. There's supposed to be a law against that somewhere, but whatever. It's free will universe, so these things happen. But that's where we are now, and that's how we're kind of stuck behind. So again, I'm just going to give an example of the past that we think we understand. You know, a lot of our early ancient history, there's a lot of talk about multiple gods. Every civilization had many, many gods. And yet there was a king of the gods. You know, there was Zeus for the Greeks, and yet there was multiple gods below Zeus. And then there was Odin for the Nordics, and then there was Indra for the Indian continent, and then there was Ra for Egypt. So each group had a group of gods with it, each race or each society or section of the planet, and yet they were multiple, and they fought with each other, and they had all the same, you know, kinds of problems that we did, but they were supposedly gods. And then there was a king of all the gods, so one god took that role, and that changed in our past. And there was this idea of monotheism. So all those gods got left behind, and there became one God to lead everything. One God of three natures, a triune God. But about the time that changed is, to my way of thinking, from what I've read now, maybe what happened was there were multiple races overseeing us, helping us as gods. We saw them as gods because of their powers, their abilities. And there was a battle. There was a fight. I mean, if you look at some of the ancient writings of the Eastern, there was a huge battle called Mahabharata, and they describe the gods fighting over whatever the issue was at the time, but there were huge weapons that were used, and we have evidence in the geological archaeology of some of those regions, Pakistan, India, of a nuclear remain, a nuclear weapon that was used in the past about 5,000 years ago. There was the same sort of ash and glass from this nuclear weapon. Radiation's not so strong, but it's stronger than the background. And so there's maybe evidence that there was some sort of war, some sort of battle amongst the gods that left only one God in charge of us. One God not from here, but one God that ruled. And you'll notice, and this is just my own judgment, you'll notice the Old Testament was a God of vengeance. And they were to have no other gods before that God. So something changed. Something changed, and the way I see it is whoever won the earth won us. And they got to be in control. And they have kept that hidden from us for a very long time because it served their purpose. And this is what these channeled sources are saying, is that you've been kind of kept in the dark for whatever reason. And another interesting thing about us, if you look at our DNA, our creation, right? We have, from when they've studied the human genome, they've shown that only 3% of our DNA is active, creating our body, doing things that they can understand. The other 97% they call junk DNA, but it's really just not doing anything. The weird thing is, it's the same DNA in everybody. We're all 99.9% the same DNA, the same sequence of DNA. I mean, yeah, there's minor differences, but even the junk is the same. So in my mind, it says, well, I'll get to that. The other part of that is that, we can look at our DNA evidence of historically, and they've traced the DNA of the mitochondria back through time to say that all of us originated from some woman back in 200,000 years ago, so that we're all genetically connected to that creation, that time. And the other things the myths say about the gods was that they created man. And one of the other elements of the DNA that is kind of weird, and this goes to the idea that, we're looking at evolution and we're saying, oh, well, what is the source of us? There's no missing link, we're missing this connection to the natural world. But also in our DNA, there are what they call, not the genes, but the chromosomes. And there's 22 chromosomes. 2 of the chromosomes have been fused together in a way that's not normal. And there's nobody that knows how that could have happened. And so it makes me think that this idea that we were created by gods is probably true in a literal sense, is that maybe they took their DNA and our DNA, the DNA of whoever was here on the planet, and fused another being. Now there's also talk about we'll have them work for us, we'll put them to work, we need people to labor. There's all these needs that they had that they felt that they could create a race to solve. Well, perhaps they did, and perhaps we just didn't get to carry that knowledge forward. A lot of these things were written of in our myths, and the way that historians and archaeologists look at those myths is that, even though they were written down, they're not true. They're stories, okay? Well, why would they write them down if they didn't mean us to remember them? I mean, obviously writing was something that was new, and they did write down a lot of stuff, but anyway, my sense is that there is something more to it than we've been told. And that's up for each one of us to decide, but these beings that are channeling to us are talking about this idea that we have been manipulated. We have been created and designed for a certain purpose, and yet that part of that creation involves really a soul. They created a soul for us. I mean, we have this connection to God that's given. They were trying to keep us from realizing who we are because that didn't suit their need. That didn't suit their purposes. If you look at history, we have structures that were far older than our recorded history. And some of them are mines for gold. And that goes into a whole nother tangent of what did we want gold for? We didn't even know how to create gold from the rocks that we mined. I mean, this is a very technological process. Why would we have invented that? Somehow or another, we were chosen to do this and probably given that information. But the gold's probably not here with us. So that's a whole nother avenue to pursue. Anyway, they've tried to orchestrate what goes on here for them. And so those tactics that they've used are to keep themselves behind the scenes, the man behind the curtain, and to convince us in ways that were easy for them to do, that we needed to do what we're doing because that was who we are. And so the, let me check, I gotta get going here. Well, all right, let's go on. Skip that. So what will be changing? Transparency, truth, secrets come out. So this is a new beginning for us, but it will cause a lot of destruction, change, upset, chaos. We have to go through it all. We have to learn to understand it, and we have to accept that understanding and see what that brings us in terms of who we are. And it's going to look pretty bad in some ways. But it's important that we wake up. It's important that we have this knowledge. And, you know, many of us, I mean, the entire human race, there are different levels of awareness amongst all peoples. So that's what's confusing to us. You have a large portion are totally asleep. You have some that are starting to wake up, you know, looking, searching for answers. Others that are, you know, more awake and wanting to do something to help. Others that are wide awake and trying to direct the scenes to help others and make sure that that help is achieved. But it's, you know, and then you have those that are trying to control us. So there's levels of awareness that are all different, and so that's really confusing. But there's more light now than there's been, and so the increasing light brings more light and love to us. And we have to move through with our emotions, with our understanding. We have to move through what's been done so that we can move forward into the new world of oneness. So, what are the signs along the way that we will know, you know, when things are coming to a changing point? It will be more obvious. So we're also not just our own selves, we're also part of this planet. Gaia's consciousness is also going through a change or a shift to another dimensional level, another level of service. And that happens with us here. So what will change? Well, the earth has to remove or destroy or renew itself from those areas where we've created so much negativity, so much death and destruction and sorrow. So things will have to shift on the planet for that to happen, for Gaia to be reborn in a way that that energy can move forward, because it can't take along all of this pain, destruction, suffering into the next level of awareness. That level, according to what they're telling us, is not about negativity. It's about a positive, loving relationship where oneness is sharing all of that. So it can't bring along all of those that don't want to go into a service to others situation, all of those that are still asleep and don't want to wake up. I mean, there's potential here, and it's being designed to give us that chance, but we still have free will. So we have the choice, and that's why it's time. So one of the things here's a list of things that they talk about in terms of what's coming, which, you know, again, with any prophecy, it's always up to us. Any prediction, we can change things. So these aren't set hard and fast, and they are not timed, because time from that other level, dimension, where they're speaking to us is pretty hard to pin down for us because of the fact that we all have free will and we're a huge planet of all these people kind of creating our reality as a mass consciousness. So here's what they say. And some of this has already started. These talks began in 2020 and went through August of 2021. So increasing violence, extremism has been going on for a while. Attempts to control the masses by mandates and by fear. So I think we can see the evidence of that. One of the things they're saying has to change is our financial system. It's money that divides us. It's money that keeps us in our place in this society for their purposes. And so the financial system will have to be transformed. We don't yet know what that'll look like, but that's up to us. So then they said there's a good chance that the military will have to step in and take over. And this is worldwide. This is not just the US. There's a good chance, because of the fight that's going on by those that are aware of trying to stop some of these controllers and these beings that are being led by them, there's going to be there's a method to capture them and stop them. And it's all about stopping this from going on because of the damage they're doing to children, to people, to the world in various ways, and I won't go into that. But they may need to step in and say, okay, enough, we're going to suspend things as they are so that they can finish that process. And then once those, whatever you want to call them, elements of society that are responsible for those parts of our society, once those are removed, then we can come forward in a way to start to create what we want to create. And there's more, but I can't go into everything. So part of the idea of there being this stoppage is that there will be an announcement of what's really happening, that all of the lies kind of will come out, even as far as the government, and many structures within the world will be exposed for what they're doing. They don't have our interest at heart. And how do you think all the money got to the top 0.1%? They're basically saying that that was stolen from us through manipulation. Now, whether that happened or not, we have to move forward. And so we move forward by taking it back, by stopping the process. So there'll be some sort of an announcement globally. There will be, you won't miss it. It's possible that they're going to try one last stab at convincing us that we need to submit and follow them and obey their rules. There's rumors, and have been rumors for many years, of a fake alien invasion being staged so that they can use the military from their side. There's a division within the military too, but that they can use forces to pretend to subdue that and convince us that we need to be locked down into some kind of, lockdown rule situation. But that's already prepared for, and there's no fear of that actually working. I talked about earth changes a little bit. Not a total catastrophe, not a shifting of the poles that many people have talked about, just a cleansing, and they talk about it as a wave of earthquakes being very serious, happening all the way around the world, starting in North America, but also there's some sort of a signal that would come from Paris that would be the beginning of this. So I don't know what that is, but not everyone will die, but many people still will. It's just something that the earth has to do, and this is the only way that it can do it. So it's trying to do it in a fashion that will be best for all. There's solar events to come. One of the things about being in this body is that we need to be upgraded. Our systems have to be turned on. Like I said, the DNA that wasn't active, somehow the sun is going to be involved in that, and that'll be kind of our preparation to the next step. So that's another thing we'll all be aware of. Even if you sleep through it and you wake up, you'll know you're different. And then there's also rumored to be this idea of some days of darkness. Darkness not being darkness, but darkness being where there is no more communication possible on the planet. All of our electronic style of communication, which is connected us globally, would stop for a period of time. And don't know, other than that, it's a signal of the end of the darkness. When that is over, then the light comes back on, and we're prepared to move forward into whatever this next step is, which is an awareness of pure love, of truth, knowing of oneness. This whole thing will be sort of a mind-blowing expansion, and that's a big thing for the world. So we're not yet sure how that's going to happen, but they're saying that is the event that's planned for us. Unity is important as we move into that awareness, and there are some things about creation which I will kind of go over quickly here, but how it works on our world here and what we can do. I mean, they describe the world as getting built thought by belief, by intent, by imagining, just as you build a house brick by brick, but each one of these pieces is critical. And so your belief for something holds the seed. of what you can be. Your intent for something is the force for that to manifest. What is your will? What is your intent? Your acceptance and allowance for something holds the place for its appearance because it takes time to manifest. And then your expectation, that is the magic. Usually invisible and deeply held, it is your imagination, and that is what is our most unique trait, I guess, according to these others. So see the world you want, believe in the life that you desire to experience, spread your belief and your vision to everyone you care for, to others in your life and to the world, and hold on to that belief. So in closing, I'd like to do a quick mantra that they've suggested is helpful if you're looking to center yourself and to meditate and to give yourself a chance to understand things not from the world of man, but from our own inner world, which is connected to the Creator. So if you'd just get comfortable, we'll say this, I'll say it a couple of times, you can join in as you want, it's very simple. I think I should repeat it about 5 or 6 times just to have this kind of sink in for you. And you may be familiar with it already. So take a deep breath. And you can repeat after me. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. I am the light. I am the truth, the love, sorry. I am the truth. I am. Sometimes it's helpful to have something else to focus on. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve. That's profound. So much depth and just it feels good. Thank you so much. Michael, would you be interested in singing another one?
I would love to.
So glad. Thank you.
As Steve was speaking, my Rolodex of repertoire was going through my head. And I've got this song that I discussed with a friend of mine not too long ago. So it's very serendipitous, synchronistic that this would come up. It's a song from 50 years ago. We sang it back in high school. But it's really a beautiful song. It goes, look out your windows, see what you can see. The silence is broken by opening your door. Look out your window, see if you can see all the wonders of life you've never seen before. Spend just a moment to look out your window. The glass is as clear as you want it to be. Life has new meanings and shades of a rainbow. Though sometimes we live as though all shades were dead. Look out your window, see if you can see. The silence is broken by opening your door. Look out your window, see if you can see all the wonders of life you've never seen before. Morning brings laughter to people of sorrow, and sorrow brings laughter to people aware. Life has awakened in shades of new meaning. For those who are searching and bother to care, look out your window, see if you can see. The silence is broken by opening your door. Look out your window, see what you can see. All the wonders of life you've never seen before. Excuse me, I keep losing this. Blossoms of color bloom outside your window. Colors of black, white, yellow, and red. Can you imagine a world without color? Yet sometimes we live as though most shades were dead. Look out your window, see what you can see. The silence is broken by opening your door. Look out your window, see what you can see. All the wonders of life you've never seen before. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so perfect. I would like to ask someone to bring up the baskets, and then we could sing in the silence, and Michael will help us with that. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, everybody sing along here. Everybody sing along. In the silence, there is a sacred place, a secret meeting place. Love is there. In the silence, where I need the words, and every rainbow has good is there. In the light, now you find that you know peace of mind. In the silence, where every color blends and every rainbow ends, good is there. Peace is there. Truth is there. God is there.
Okay. Did we pass the offering? Usually where's the basket? Oh, it's up here somewhere. Oh, okay. It's all good. Thank you. I just want to say blessings to everyone. Thank you. Such gratitude as we move forward in this awesome, beautiful place, in this church, and what we all represent, and the beauty of life, and just the openness of all. This stuff was just coming to me. I'm just grateful. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And so, okay, we'll do the church affirmation on your card. Okay, we totally accept the belief that God is in charge of the affairs and direction of Lake Superior Interfaith Community Church. And we know that as our thoughts of trust and joyful anticipation join in the harmony with the thoughts of all the members of this fellowship, we attract the right ministerial leadership to our spiritual community, and we are grateful. Sweet. And now I would like to say it's a unity prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Thank you. And now let's sing till we, what is it? God be with you till we meet again. And yes, it's on the card. Remember this one. Thank you all on Zoom. And until we see you next week, have a wonderful week, everyone. Right.